G'day and welcome back to OzMTG. I'm Tim and I'm here with Elven Council, one of the Lord of the Rings commander decks. I'm going to pull it apart, give you my thoughts on it, break down a few of the cards and see where it goes. So let's get it open and see what's inside here. Okay, here we go. Break it apart, pull out all the deck boxes and bits and pieces. So you always get a nice little deck box with Gandalf and Galadriel on it. Pretty cool. In here is where all your other cards sit. You get junk, the deck, a life spin down, and a booster sample pack. These are really good. I like these booster sample packs. You can't get a ring in it. Just putting that out there as well, so you know. And here we go. Let's see what we get. So we have Sting, the Glinting Dagger. Cool card. Nice to have. And Elrond, Lord of Rivendell. Interesting. I've had this same one from another one of the commander decks. So yeah, nice little bonus that you get on there. They don't have to do that, but sometimes you can get some decent hits and it can actually pay off some of the commander deck too. So let's have a look. We have as our commander, the face commander is Galadriel, the Elven Queen. So for 4 mana, you get a 4/5, which is quite a nice body. And then it has Will of the Council. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if another elf entered the battlefield under your control, this turn, starting with you, each player votes for dominance or guidance. Dominion, sorry. If Dominion gets more votes, the ring tempts you. Then put a +1/+1 on your ring bearer. If guidance gets more votes or the vote is tied, you draw a card. So yeah, good little value engine going there. Shows me that it's going to be elf tribal. That's what they're going to care about, and probably with some voting shenanigans in there. Our second card is Gandalf, Westwood Voyager. So he's a 5 mana 5/5, which is not bad. Whenever you cast a spell with mana 5 or greater, each opponent reveals the top card of the library. If any of those cards share a card type with that spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for this copy, and each opponent draws a card. Otherwise, you just draw a card. So yeah, he's definitely almost cascadey in a way, but with a copy. So you'd want to be trying to cast cards with multiple card types, like an artifact and a creature could work really well and stuff like that. Even enchantment artifacts I've seen before. Some creatures are enchantment creature artifacts and weird stuff. So yeah, but he's looking at 5 CMC or greater and copying spells. So I'm going to guess it's elves with a lot of 5 CMC spells in here. Yeah, let's see what's inside. So first one's Lorien Revealed. So it's draw 3 cards with Island Walking. It's a 5 CMC cost card. Not amazing, but I see why they put it in for Gandalf. Then we've got Soulborn the Wise, which is an elf noble. So it's triggering Galadriel. 4 mana for a 3/3. When you attack with one or more elves, scry 1. Whenever you scry, he gets +1/+1 till the end of the turn for each card looked at while scrying. So he buffs himself. I'm just going to lay them out like this too, and we'll put them beside each other and see which way they work. Elven Farsight, 1 mana. Scry 3, reveal top card of your library. If it's a creature card, draw that card. Interesting. I'm probably going to pull that out. Woe's Pathfinder, 2 mana. Human Shaman, 1/1, and you can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. That's weird that it's an elf. It's not a 5 CMC. It's mana ramp, but there's mana ramp elves out there, so I think that could be replaced. Then we've got Learn from the Past. So a 4 mana CMC, target player shuffles a graveyard into the library and you draw a card. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here because that's not really working with either of them. Wow, okay. We've got Opt. Opt isn't a bad card, but I mean, it doesn't work with any of these two, which is interesting. Preordain, same deal. Am I reading this wrong? Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, each opponent reveals the top card. Okay. I don't know why you're running a spell slinger or looting style. Not that great. Anyway, let's continue. We've got Arbor Elf. 1 mana, Elf Druid, works well with Galadriel, that's what you want. Beast Within, it's a great card, works with either of them. I might just put that into a separate pile because it is a good one that could work in any deck. Cultivate, you're ramping, that's nice. Elvish Mystic, it's an elf for mana, great, works well. Elvish Visionary, draw a card elf, works well. Farhaven Elf, excellent. Okay, so we've got Mirror of Galadriel, 2 mana. Legendary artifact, 5 and tap it, scry 1, then draw a card. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. Interesting. I'm not a big fan. I think if you're going Elf Tribal or if you're going 5 mana CMC, it doesn't meet it. I mean, yeah, not amazing. Lignify, you turn a creature into a tree. It's a bit of removal, but it's not elf based. It's not 5. I don't think it's going to work here. Paradise Druid, it's an elf. Excellent mana, excellent rampant growth. You can ramp out a bit more, not too bad. Rex Sage, it's an elf, blows up something, great. Wood Elves, elf, it's in the name. Growth Spiral, ramping, drawing cards, nice. Arcane Signet's good. Commander's Sphere, Lightning Greaves, hell yeah, let's take that. Sweet Soul Ring again. Whisper Silk Cloak, always handy, always nice. Then we've got Ash Barrens, so we're getting into lands, Command Tower, and a Field of Ruin. Interesting. So now, here we go. We've got a 5 CMC spell. Raise Palisade. Choose a creature type. Return all creatures that aren't of the chosen type to their owner's hands. So this works really well with both commanders. It's a 5, and also it's Elf Tribal, although getting 2 copies of it off Gandalf doesn't really work that well. But yeah, anyway, you could draw a card if you don't hit, if someone doesn't have a sorcery, which is nice. Trapped Trespassers, so it's a 3 mana Secret Council. Each player secretly votes for a creature that you don't control. Then those votes are revealed. For each creature with 1 or more votes, put that many stun counters on it and tap it. So it doesn't really work with Galadriel because it's not elves. It doesn't really work with Gandalf because it's not 5, but it's really fun for a Secret Council one. I'd probably still put it in because it seems like a fun card. Then we've got Arwen, Weaver of Hope, Elf Noble, which is nice. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to Arwen, Weaver of Hope's toughness. So its toughness is only 1 at the moment, but there's definitely ways to buff it. So, and Elves buff really well. There's a lot of anthems in Elves. Galadriel Ambush, so it's a 4 mana instant, create X/1/1 Elf warrior creature tokens where X is the number of attacking elves, then you prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by non-elves. So you can use it either when you attack or when someone else attacks to fog the combat and then kill their creatures. Really good, definitely elf tribal. It's not 5, so it's definitely not Gandalf. Then we're looking at Haldir Lorien Lieutenant. So it could be up to 5 if you wanted to. It's an elf soldier, enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. It's got vigilance, and you can pay 6 mana until the end of the turn. Other elves you control gain vigilance and get +1/+1 for each counter on it. So I mean, it's an elf. It's not bad. You could make it 5, but it's not really Gandalf style. Then we've got Legolas Greenleaf, 3 mana elf archer with reach and can't be blocked. It's good abilities and definitely good elf for Galadriel. Then we have Mirkwood Elk. It's an elk, and when it enters the battlefield or attacks, return target elf card from your graveyard to your hand. You gain life equal to that card's power. So, way to get your elves back out of your graveyard. I know it's not an elf, but it gets them back. I would definitely still keep it in this deck. There's not a lot of reanimation so far, so it seems to be something decent. Then we've got Travel Through Kahadras for 6 mana. Council's Dilemma. Starting with you, each player votes for Redhorn Pass or Mines of Moria. For each vote of Redhorn Pass, search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped. If you search your library this way, shuffle. For each Mines of Moria vote, return a card from your graveyard to your hand, and then you exile it. So it gives you some graveyard reanimation, or it gives you some ramp. People are probably going to give you ramp rather than letting you take stuff from your graveyard. Works with both, but definitely Gandalf because it's 5+. And getting a copy of that could be really nice too. Then we have Windswift Slice. So 3 mana instant, target creature you control deals damage equal to target creature you don't control. Create a number of 1/1 green elf creature tokens this way, amount to the excess damage dealt. So elf tribal-ish with destruction. Then we've got Cerdin the Shipwright, Elf Noble, Vigilance 3/4. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, each player secretly votes. Then the votes are revealed. Each player draws a card for each vote that they received. Each player who received no votes may put a permanent from their hand onto the battlefield. Whoa, that could be crazy. That could change the game. Interesting. It could go so many ways with this. It's an elf, so it can definitely work, but be very careful when you play that and who votes for who. That's interesting. We've got Elrond of the White Council, so a 5 mana 3/3 Secret Council. When he enters the battlefield, everyone secretly votes for Fellowship or Aid. Fellowship, the voter chooses a creature they control, you gain control of the creature, and gain, this creature can't attack its owner. If any aids are happening, you get a +1/+1 on each creature you control. So you either steal someone's creature and basically it's goaded so it can't hit them in a way, or you can put a +1/+1 on it. So you're going to get people's creatures. They're not going to let you put +1/+1s on your creatures. So that's quite nice. I'm just going to do Gladriel over here now too. It's an elf, works well. Restorer of the Council, so 3 mana for a 2/4. Whenever players finish voting, each opponent who voted for a choice you voted for creates a treasure token, and you scry X, where X is the number of opponents who voted for a choice you didn't vote for, and then you draw a card. Yeah, not bad. I like it. Elf works with this, with the voting style. Then we have Mirkwood Trapper. Whenever a player attacks you, target attacking creature gets -2, -0 until the end of turn. Whenever a player attacks, if they aren't attacking you, that player chooses an attacking creature, gets +2. Okay, wow, interesting card. Elf Scout, I'd definitely keep it in there. Does some cool stuff. Oh, we've got Radagast, Wizard of Wild. So 4 mana for a 3/5 with Ward 1. Beasts and birds you control have Ward 1. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, choose one. Create a 3/2 beast token or a bird token. So works with Gandalf. I don't think it works in this deck though. Also because if you copied, it would literally kill itself being a legendary creature. So not that amazing. Sorry, Gandalf. Sail into the West. So this is a cool little Will of the Council one. I'm going to keep it in there because it seems to be Gladriel wants Will of the Council, and it's a cool little sub-theme that you've got going. Song of Eärendil. So it's a saga. First one's scry 2, draw 2. Second one's create a treasure token and a bird. Third one's put a flying counter on each creature control without a flying counter. So it can give you elves flying. It's a 5 mana card. So interesting, works with Gandalf. But yeah, let's put it in the Gandalf pile. It could be good for your elves. Then we've got Lorien Blade for 3. Whenever a creature attacks, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature defending player controls. So you pay 2 to equip it to an elf. So good elf synergy, good elf equipment. Then we've got Model of Unity. So 3 mana artifact. Whenever players finish voting, you and each opponent who voted for a choice you voted for may scry 2. So mana rock with a cool voting thing works really well. Colossal Whale. Okay, so it's a 7 mana 5/5. It's got Island Walk, and whenever it attacks, you may exile target creature a defending player controls until it leaves the battlefield. So it's Gandalf, but not very good. We've got Devastation Tide, return all non-land permanents to their hands. I don't like Devastation Tide. I don't like trying to miracle it and bouncing your own stuff. Not a big fan. Mystic Confluence, nice way to counter spells and stuff, return creatures. Not really Gladriel, actually probably triggers with Gandalf better, but still not bad in the deck. Plea for Power, Knowledge and Time, you can get extra turns or draw extra cards, still really good. It could go in either one of the two. I'll put it under Gandalf to begin with. Swan Song, good removal. Asceticism, amazing for the elves. And also you could get a copy of it through Gandalf, which could be nice. Elvish Archdruid, so this is your anthems for your elves, which is nice. Elvish Piper, wow, cool card. Put your creatures onto the battlefield for cheap. Elvish Warmaster, awesome, you're going to get more elves out of this. Then we've got Genesis Wave, really good card, really good way to get good value out of it. Actually, we'll put it under Gandalf because you could get 2 of them, which could be nice. Heroic Intervention, amazing, good for both of them. We'll put it under Gandalf. Hornet Queen, I mean, it's an insect. Yeah, you could get 2 of them with Gandalf, but no thanks. Inscription of Abundance, you can kick it, so you could get it up there. Honestly, I think there's a lot better cards you could put into here. Then we've got Overwhelming Stampede, getting double off of Gandalf could be good, but it's also working well with the elves. Realm Seekers, really cool, it's an elf. Seeds of Renewal, return cards. Even without having Gandalf in it, this can be really good, especially reducing it and getting 2 cards back from your graveyards, still not bad. Sylvan Offering, you get tree folks, and then also you get elves, so it works really quite well with Galadriel, and if you can get it up high enough mana cost, you can actually make it work with Gandalf too. Then we've got some lands, Exotic Orchards, nice. Flooded Groves, amazing. We've got Hinterland Harbour, nice reprint. Rejuvenating Springs, amazing commander card. We've got a Snarl, which is average, so you could always pull out that Snarl. Lonely Sandbar, you could pull out Thornwood Falls, Tranquil Thicket, or another tapped land, and a whole heap of basics. And then your commander. So I'll just go through and I'll count up how many lands we have. Okay, so we have 38 lands. I definitely would be pulling out Woodland Stream, Tranquil Thicket, Lonely Sandbar, and Thornwood Falls. You could choose to get rid of the Snarls if you've got any other ones that you wanted to really throw in here, but those would be 4 cards that you could straight away pull out of the deck and put something else in, which is just normal playable cards, more elves. Because having 34 lands, a lot of these elves do tap for mana or they fetch. So I think, yeah, you got wood elves in here. So there's plenty and plenty of elves that you could put into here. I think the deck, looking at it, Gandalf doesn't have a lot of impact in this deck. You look at the cards that work with him, there's not a lot. It seems to be a lot of Elf Tribal, a lot of Will of the Council Tribal, and a lot of those wills don't get up high enough to be useful for Gandalf. I would still leave these cards in, and I would probably leave Gandalf in there as a flavor thing, and possibly get some more value out of it. There's not a very high mana curve here, so you could always put some higher costed cards in here. Things like Triumph for the Hordes, Great Henge in there, any way to draw cards. Beast Whisperer could be a nice way. There's plenty of other elves in there. Elves out. I probably would look for some more ways to finish the game out of this. Green Sun's Twilight, Crater of Behemoth if you can afford it. But yeah, any elf could easily slot into this deck, but I definitely think it needs those ways to finish it. Some of the cards that I would also take out as well is we've got Inscription of Abundance, Hornet Queen, Devastation Tide, Colossal Whale, Radagast, Wizard of the Wilds, Lignify, Mirror of Galadriel, Preordain, Opt, Learn from the Past, Woe's Pathfinder, Elven Farsight. Let us know what you'd do. What would you upgrade? Which commander deck are you looking at getting? Let us know, and have a great one.